There are a few different tests you can do on your voltage regulator. There are a few different tests you can do on your voltage regulator. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well today. For anybody who's been watching my most recent videos, you know that my Dyna crapped out on me recently, leaving me stranded a couple hours away from home and needing rescue. Luckily my sisters were able to come and pick me up with a trailer and my truck, but my bike was effed and I could not start it. So after doing a few tests, I found that it was my regulator. So I've got a bad regulator, which ended up burning out my battery. So I had to buy a new battery and a new voltage regulator. So in this video, I'm going to be changing out my voltage regulator, and I will also show you guys how to do a quick test on your voltage regulator. And I'll also inform you that if you're going to test anything in your Harley charging system, you need to have a good battery. So if your battery's dead or if it doesn't pass a load test, you got to make sure you buy a new battery and put that in your motorcycle before you can test anything in your charging system. Because if you don't have a good battery, you're not going to get an accurate reading on any other charging system component. And it's super easy to find out whether or not your voltage regulator is actually regulating the amount of voltage that it's putting into your battery. You can do it with a multimeter. There are a few different tests you can do on your voltage regulator, which I'm not going to get into today, but I will show you guys just how to test whether or not it is providing your battery with the proper amount of voltage. But first of all, we're going to put the new regulator in, and then we're going to fire up the bike, and I'll show you guys what to do. So all in all, this is a pretty simple part to have to replace. It's much better than having to get into your primary and replace your stator. It's really just two bolts. You got the plug there that goes into the primary, and then you got one wire that is your power wire, and mine actually runs up underneath of the gas tank. So that's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt. So I'm going to have to take my tank off, and then I should be able to get to it pretty simply just by taking the cover off of my fuse box here and just rehooking up the wire. So my first step is going to be taking off these gas tanks so that I can get to the wire and unzip tie it from wherever it's zip tied up. And I'm going to undo my fuel line from the petcock and just lift my gas tank up. I think at the back should give me enough clearance to be able to get the wire out. And then I'll undo my panel. Got to take my seat off so that I can undo my battery. You want to undo your battery for this, and then I should just be good to go. Okay. We'll see if the manual I have is correct. I got my wire all fished out here from underneath of the gas tank. This one right here. You see it wiggling around. A little wiggle test on it. So now I've just got to undo it from where it attaches to its breaker here and just make sure that that's the wire. Yep. So just undo it here, and then it should be good to just start fishing the new wire on the new regulator through. And I made sure to unhook the negative lead on my battery because I don't want any electricity running through this stuff while I'm working on it. Get that off of there. You can pull this out. Alright. And just a couple 3/8 bolts holding the regulator on. Old regulator is off, and we're good to put the new one in. This is like seriously so far the easiest job I've had to do on this bike. So I'm gonna have to cut the wire, I guess, to link. Thought this had an end on it already for some reason. So I'll put the new one on, and then I'll just run the wire up. Then I know how long it has to be. I'll wipe this clean first, because why would I leave it dirty? And I just cleaned the threads on my bolts a little bit because these regulators do ground through the thread on the bolt where it goes into the frame. Should be good. Just gonna route my wire where I want it to go. Okay, run that up through there. Pushing the wire back through this hole with all these other wires is like probably the most trickiest part of this whole job because my hand doesn't bend that way. There we go. Okay, here we go. The wire through. Now we can just start zip tying it. Okay, I got my wire all snaked through here and I got it cut to length. Left it a little long because I'm just gonna loop it over and I'd rather have a little extra length here than just enough. I just snaked it up where the old one was and I got it zip tied to this vent line and some of these other wires that are up in here. And I gotta cut the zip ties still, but it's all buttoned up. I got it zip tied up the front of the frame there. So I just gotta put my new end on and then I'm ready to do this all back up. Okay, so this Drake Specialties Regulator came with a little crimp on end and an extra little piece of shrink tubing there. And I like to twist my wire ends like that before I put one of these crimp on connectors on them, just so that your wires don't end up getting all scraggly. Try and avoid like having any stray little pieces of wire. And I always keep just a little bit of extra copper poking through there and I'll crimp that on. My shrink tubing up over top of the cable. Okay, put our new end on, back onto our breaker. Don't do it up too tight. Well, that's a pretty easy job. So minus like all my messing around and not actually working on the bike, it probably took me like half an hour altogether to do this. I just got to put the bike back together and then I'm going to test the regulator again and make sure everything is good to go. Now I'm going to start this thing and we're going to make sure that everything works. Where's my multimeter? Bring it up to about 2,000 RPM. And it just holds steady at 14.2. Bring it up a little higher. There we go, it looks good. Perfect. And that is it, guys. That is how you change a regulator on a 1994 Harley Davidson Dyna. And actually I think all the Dynas from like, you know, the early to mid 90s are pretty much the same, but don't quote me on that because I'm not a professional. I just do things. So yeah, that's how I change a regulator anyways, but maybe you guys will do it a little differently than me. It's a pretty simple job. I'm just glad it wasn't something like my stator, and it probably took me like, I don't know, like half an hour altogether of actually working on it. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys liked this video, and like always, if you guys like what you see, or if you just like me, or even if you don't like me but you like my bike, then like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you guys do. And like always, my lovely YouTube people, I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace. Like you need to have like a 12 jointed hand to get it in there the right way. Okay, now let's see if I can get this in there. It feels like it's going somewhere. Dang it, I don't actually give you very good access to that. Come on now. I can't actually see where I'm going in there. It's just rubber going through. The rubber. But it's being a real pain in the butt because my hand doesn't fit back there. Come on now. If I could get a grip on that cable, that would be nice. There we go. I feel like this is just being stupid where it is. this to go? Geez, where do I want it to go? It's so hard to decide. I really need a better lighter. Does this thing even have fluid in it? Doesn't help that it's windy out. Clean up this mess. Garbage, junk, garbage, more junk, more garbage, more junk, more tools, some wood, tool line, to my petcock. Everything is screwed up here. Do that sucker up, plug in my regulator, my brand spanking new regulator, brand spanky new. Plugs in good, plugs in, it'll go.